Okay, so I wanted to jump on really quick and share this really cool resource that I use with couples. So I'm doing a screen share. If you've seen me going up and on and up and on with regards to going live, that is the reason. I've had a couple of snags as I figure out this cool feature with regards to getting on and also sharing my screen, because I really wanted to walk you through this resource. So it's called the Marriage Minute. It's through Gottman. It is one of their resources. And so if you were to be interested in looking for it, it is www.gottman.com/marriage-minute. Okay. And so when you go to it, it is a free resource. They send it out. It does take 60 seconds or less to read through, and it just goes through your email. And so again, highlight the best part about this is that it's free. You put in your first name, last name, and then confirm, and then you'll see that every Tuesday and Thursday morning, it's going to populate through your email. Now, I want to walk you through one of the ways that me and my husband actually work through these marriage minutes. Now, we're not consistent, but we are always working on making a more consistent habit of this. So here's one that I got on June 4th, and this one was talking about taking a time to check in. And so we just sit here and we read it really quick. It talks about, like, there's 4 questions to check in with yourself. How can I give myself permission to accept joy in moments of sorrow? What are ways I can cultivate stillness into my daily life? Have I been moving the negative energy out of my body? And how can I tend to my vessel? And how can I honor my anger? So self-care is important, especially in times of collective overwhelm. And I think we could say that with the most recent events that has been just piled upon us, one after the other, with regards to 2020, that we can say there's a collective overwhelm. So it's kind of like that perfect marriage minute coming through. It continues to say, if you aren't tending to your own experience with awareness, it's harder to connect with and love others. So, what does self care look like for you? It doesn't have to be a bubble bath or a mud mask, as nice as those may be. How can you create time for yourself to take stock? If you are undertaking the work of confronting your own biases, how can you do that with self-compassion? Okay. So it gives you that little part, really cool jump off connection point that, a lot of times me and my husband will use it when he's on his way to work. We get on the phone and we kind of make a little joke of it in the sense of, do you want to be my friend? And so the other one naturally will say yes. And then we get on the phone and I do the reading while he's driving. He's completely being safe and focusing on his drive time. But in that drive time, I don't know, we get to steal a minute of time to just connect and fill up each other's emotional tanks. And we don't go into the heavy stuff. If ever there's a time where the marriage minute brings up some of the heavy stuff, we just sideline it, right? For a more appropriate time, because definitely don't want to have him starting his day or me starting my day on that heavy note. But it really just, we get to talk about it, like, wow, like, what is this concept? And sometimes we'll just sit with the different ideas in the sense of, like, just that one question: how can I give myself permission to accept joys in moments of sorrow? And what sorrow are we currently experiencing in this time and season? And are we giving ourselves permission to accept those joyful moments, right? So sometimes we may find that we don't even get through the entire 60-minute read. I mean, 60-minute 1 minute read, right? Because it's a quick read, 60 seconds. But because there's so much richness out of each part of it, though, that we could take from it. Sometimes you may fly through and we answer those questions quickly. And then you'll see down here that they even give you more stuff. So there's reading more. So they found 3 articles. Sometimes there's 4, sometimes there's 2 that are going to connect with the little tidbit that's here, right? And then there's also podcasts. I don't know if you're aware of the podcasts that are available. It's called Small Things Often. They put this podcast out early this year. And so then it just does, again, comes in really quick and gives some knowledge, psychoeducation, just something for you to sit on and think through and be able to enrich your relationship. And so this one is speaking to self-care isn't selfish. So if you were to go to read more, again, totally doable thing. You go on And you could see here it talks about rescuing your relationship from stress. And then again, you're just reading, I'm reading the article to him. We're talking about emotional distancing. We're understanding how it affects the loss of intimacy. We're understanding how stress plays a role of coming within the marriage and bringing some conflict. We're talking about their current stressors, right? So it says identify your stressors. So we honestly didn't get to finish reading the article in his commute to work, because we sat with these various pieces and applied it to our own personal lives. So when it talked about stressors we're experiencing outside of the relationship, he took his turn of talking about his top 5 stressors, and I took my turn in talking about my top 5 stressors. And then we were going to continue to read. We put a pause to be able to talk about later in terms of, there's even a scale if we wanted to get to it, but there was a speaking to a heart. So it talks about once we identify these stressors, it does a really good job of having us walk through some questions that we could ask each other. Then it goes into strength and resilience. What is this concept of strengthening your resilience? What is resilience? So we get to talk, and they give ideas in terms of bids of connection and fondness and admiration and rituals of connection. These are things that I talk about when I do couples therapy. It's called the Sound Relationship House, and it's elements that I work on with my couples to help them grow. So he has an awareness of that. But let's say you're not in a season where you're able to do the whole couples therapy thing, but you still want to grow in information and knowledge. If you notice, these all have a hyperlink. So you're able to click into it and get that knowledge to understand, well, what is this concept of bids for connection? And what is this concept of fondness and admiration? And what does Dr. Gottman mean when he says rituals of connection? And then it continues to go on to take care of yourself, set and pursue goals, and then update your love maps, which at the whole totality of this check-in that we're doing with the guidance of this marriage minute is really that, love maps is everything of our Google Maps of our spouse, of our loved one. And it really is relational. So it could be the love, me knowing the inner workings of my husband. It could be that of my children, right? The loved ones, the ones that I hold dear. I should have an idea of what their likes and dislikes and fears and dreams, and how they, again, think Google Maps. That is the easiest way for me to give you a picture of what love maps look like, because just how Google is able to help you navigate through here and there, and they tell you to make this right turn and left turn and all of those things. Those are the things that you do when you just take a check-in minute and you tap into resources and continue to, I don't feed into or nurture or cultivate. I mean, there's so many different words we could use, but at the end of the day, our relationship, so that it doesn't go into the disastrous stage and continues to flow to being that of masters and leveling up over the course of our years, requires work. So that was it. I just wanted to jump in and share this resource that is out there for couples, and it's a really good resource that I thought was worth sharing. Have a blessed day. Enjoy reading through it, and thanks for your ears.